Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 11:50 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. And guess what? It's got one of those kind of nice days we like here in the Pacific Northwest. The sun is shining. It's a little cooler than it was yesterday, and I know that the nation is on fire. I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, all over the country, it's a lot of heat going on. People probably wish it was wintertime. Maybe, maybe not. I'm waiting for my guests. I think Mr. Eddie Rye is going to come on. He'll be coming on here in a few minutes, going to give us an update on all the wonderful things he's doing. And then the next part of the rest of the show, you'll be listening to me talking about mothers, some of the things we've done, and then talking about the city council hearing tomorrow. A vote tomorrow on an ordinance that's supposed to change us for the CPC, and to be for us to have a deputy for the CPC to have the same parity with the other police accountability partners. So anyway, yeah, so it's a good week. Every day you wake up is a good day. So this is a Monday, beginning of a new week. And of course, the summer is going to fly by because summer never lasts as long as winter. So just keep your little nice little pretty dresses ready to wear, because before you know it, it'll be fall, it'll be raining. People will be complaining about the weather. And they're probably already complaining already because it's going to be hot tomorrow, they say. So anyway, all you got to do is stick around a little long, and the weather's always changing. And that's the way the world is too. It's always changing. So anyway, this is good. This is good. I mean, we would be really bored if everything was always the same. So at least it's not always the same. Isn't that wonderful? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, Mr. Rye is going to come on here really soon. He's going to be talking about the 60th anniversary of the commemoration of the March on Washington. You know why I know that so well? Because the March on Washington was the year I graduated from high school. I'm always going to be that young person graduating from high school in my heart. It's like, oh, wow. The world is all new, coming out of. All right, so hi, Mr. Rye, you ready?
Yes, ma'am. I am definitely ready, and Eric just sent me the link. I don't know what happened on the Zoom thing, but talking about the 60th anniversary, and you were talking about how the optimism at that time was flowing. You graduated right before the 1963 March on Washington. That was actually back was August 28th. But from that march that was organized, most people remember Dr. King's "I Have a Dream" speech. But A. Philip Randolph, Bayard Rustin, Whitney Young, Roy Wilkins, Whitney Young, NAACP, Roy Wilkins, NAACP, A. Philip Randolph, and we have A. Philip Randolph Institute right here, and we also have the NAACP led by Darrell Powell, and A. Philip Randolph is led by Gabriel Paul, and those were key organizations along with the clergy, because most of the meetings there was no social media, and they were not allowed to have meetings in public schools, so the meetings were in the church houses and also in people's homes. But the 63 March on Washington, 250,000 people went. There was not one fight, not one person got shot, and folks were serious about getting this job accomplished. And it did lead to the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which blacks did not have any rights at that time, as we were referred to as colors, which did not have any rights at that time until the 64 Civil Rights Act, even though we had been in every war fought by this country, the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Civil War on both sides didn't have any choice, World War I, World War II, the Korean conflict, the Vietnam War, every war, and African Americans have had a presence. I constantly remind people that African American soldiers in Europe freed a lot of Jews from concentration camps, and I'm so happy that the brothers, one unit was called the Black Panthers, and it was a tank battalion, and they freed these folks from concentration camps, but they came back home to segregation. And 60 years later, after that march, we see a retreat from civil rights, specifically for African descendants of the United States enslaved. We have to deal with racism coming from many different sources. Not all the folks, but a lot of the folks. And we've seen what happened at the Los Angeles City Council. We've seen it happen in other places with these Chinese organizations, making derogatory statements during the I-1000 hearing down in Olympia. I will say that most of the progressive Asian leaders were with us all the way. And then one group that has been with us for years, and they suffered a similar experience to the African Americans, and that's the Japanese Americans, the Japanese American Citizens League. They were in Selma in 1965. They were back in 2015. So it was going to be, folks talked about a celebration of the 60th anniversary, but it can't be a celebration. It has to be a remembrance. It has to be a recommitment to fighting and maintaining the rights that we have. And so it got to be a demonstration and an acknowledgement, but not a celebration. There's very little to celebrate for African Americans and African descendants of the United States enslaved in the country right now, with what we see the Supreme Court with one of the biggest crooks ever on a court, and that's Clarence Thomas. So we see that all the gains we made over that 60 years are being reneged on and being fought, and people are being encouraged to oppose us wherever we go. So we have a lot of work to do, and we're embracing and calling out the people not only to participate in this event on the 28th, but we want folks, we like to have the pastors to come mention it. If you're Seventh-day Adventist on Saturday, and if you Baptist or other denominations, or mention it on Sundays, along with the Jewish community. We'd like to have them also talk, because we do know there was a number of Jewish folks, two that died with Goodman, Swerner, and Cheney, two Jews and a black guy died trying to register folks to vote in Mississippi. So we know there's been a sprinkling of support, but when it comes down to affirmative action and stuff, we've had some of the same people who fought with us to fight against us. And it's always aimed at African descendants of the United States enslaved, the people who've been here 400 years, like my daughter said, built this joint for free. We see a retrenchment in any kind of commitment to us, and the state of Washington's numbers prove that. 0.18% of participation by African Americans in Washington State of the businesses, and it just seems like black-owned businesses are continually targeted, don't get the same support, don't have the same access, but the same requirements are made of us to defend the country. And like I say right now, people got upset, but I don't care. There's no reason in the world for African American men and women in the military to be anywhere around the world fighting for other people's freedom when their people don't have the freedom right here in the United States of America. So there's a planning going on right now to commemorate and acknowledge the 60th anniversary of the 1963 March, August 28, 1963 March on Washington. It'll be on a Monday, and we're talking with a lot of people. We want as much participation as possible. And for the young folks that don't know, elders, teach them of where we were. Let them know about the colored drinking fountains and the colored waiting rooms, and going by the side door to get your food and have to step off a sidewalk when a white man walked down and not be able to look a white man in the face or ask him why. I made that mistake when I was 5 years old in Shreveport. I thought my uncle was going to shake me to death, but he was so intimidated because I had insulted a white man that, he almost lost it. So he told me, don't ever look in their face and always say, yes, sir. If they walk down the sidewalk, get off the sidewalk. And I remember in times in Louisiana, we put our money on the front of the bus to get ready to go get on the back door of the bus. And sometimes the bus driver would leave us. So, we've had, that's our history. And so I have no problems with sharing that. But also, as old as I am, I'm ready to start boxing and fighting all over again for the rights that I want people coming behind me to enjoy. But at the same time, they have got to be prepared. I don't care how qualified you are, you're still going to be black in America, and you just have to accept that fact. So I'm not saying don't ever compromise on getting the best qualification, education, and training you can get. Always do that. But on the other hand, you got to understand there's going to be some barriers waiting on you, and don't let them discourage you. Just roll your sleeves up and get ready to box. You have to fight your way through them. And folks, I hope our folks start getting organized and do something positive. There's far too much killing and stuff going on, not only in the black community but across the country. We have more deaths by gun violence, I think, than most many wars in places. So there will be additional information coming forward. I'll make sure that Reverend Harriet and Mother's Justice Show have the information, and
Okay.
we will do
And
that.
Mothers is going to participate. We'll participate, like we always do. I mean, as someone that grew up in that era, and it's a indelible. It's in your consciousness. You got the good, the bad, and that what needs to be let go of in the consciousness if we were raised in that environment. But the one thing that I think that you and I have is the resilience that came from the people. It took a lot to live through Jim Crow. It did. In a lot of places, some places it was different. Some places where people had, when they had the Negro League, in some places, they had a lot more prosperity, in those black places where they had the Negro League, and some of the other places that did not have that kind of commerce going on, because the Negro League was a revenue generator for the cities that had the Negro League playing in those segregated towns. But one of the things that I know for sure, Mr. Rye, and that's why you keep at it, is because you love your ancestors. You love the people who came before us and what they suffered through. I mean, and so we are here to empower the young people to absolutely know that they can do this, and that they're not alone. We have a history of fighting back. And I bless Clarence Thomas' heart. I mean, no matter where his heart is, I know it's not with us, but his heart has to be with somebody, some group of people. It might not be with the group of people who brought him to the planet, but we know that it's resilience and perseverance and determination that has kept us on the planet. And that's what you bring. I mean, that's what you're talking about. And, I'm excited. I mean, I did double jazz because I graduated, the world where we had lived through the Bay of Pigs. We lived through 62. We thought we were all going to get annihilated with the war between America and America and Cuba. So we were excited to graduate from high school. My little class was 110, Coons Academy there in Sanford, Florida. So I know that it's going to be good, and that we will announce it as you come on. And I know that you were working on a lot of things. I know you're working with the Black Caucus and with a lot of stuff that's going on in America. You always have your finger on it, and I know you know about the new museum in Charleston, South Carolina. It's about the slave museum, and it has a lot of history there. I was going to go for the opening, but I didn't make it. Do you know about that museum?
No, I don't. But I'm going to be talking to Congressman Clymer's people a little later today.
Yeah, well, make sure, get him on, because it's his legacy. I mean, I'm a charter member. My granddaughter's going to go for me there because she's living in South Carolina. She's visiting here now, but she's in South Carolina. It's magnificent. I don't care if they never want to teach it in the schools. And it's also a museum in Africatown, Alabama. The last so-called slave ship that hit America in Mobile, and those people were marooned there. They had been stolen, and so Africatown also has a museum in Alabama, and so they don't ever have to teach it. I mean, it's a living. We got living monuments of it. So anyway, when you have him on, I mean, I want to make sure that I can listen, because this is his legacy. He's been working on this for 20 years. 20 years, and it's a testimony.
Well, I certainly will keep you posted, Reverend Harriet. I certainly will do that.
Oh yes. And if you ever get to shake his hand, you can just say, "Well, you got a little groupie. You got some groupies in Seattle, so so you can say hello. He can say hello to there, because I know you're involved with the Black Caucus and and that type of stuff. So, but anyway, life is good. I mean, we just have to continue to understand that we're here for a purpose, and the Creator says, yes, we're still here because we're still breathing. And so we'll just go ahead and make some lemonade out of this, and we empower our young people to understand that education is still the way. And violence, whenever you pick up a gun, the white man wins, white supremacy wins. Whenever you get all high on all this stuff you can buy, it wins. It's a chess game. And our job is to make sure that they don't win. That's exactly what we're up to. I mean, we have to make sure that Mr. Rye. So Anyway, this is really good to have you on, and we'll be on. You'll be on my show soon again. I know that. So you continue to have a great day, Mr. Rye, Mr. Ed Rye. Thank you for coming on the Mother's Justice Show.
The next Zoom call, we'll make sure you're on as well for the planning of the 60th acknowledgement of the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. They got us our civil rights and our voting rights, which are under attack. So we don't really have anything. What we have is very fragile, and if we don't stand up,
but we know who builds the foundation. So it might be fragile to us, but it's not fragile to the Most High. So we know who builds the foundation. So keep me posted on that, okay?
Will do, Reverend Harry. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. You listen to the Mothers. Thank you. You listen to the Mothers Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. We'll be right back.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
On the path to good health and well-being? Alternative Talk 1150 is the station for you.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. So I want to talk a little bit about Mothers for Police Accountability Birthday Month. It's coming up here. I want to talk about some of the things that we've been doing for the last 33 years. But before I go into that, I want to actually give a real shout out and a blessings to Miss Zelina Matthews and her husband Stedman, and her daughter. They had the peace visual yesterday. They had a march and a rally for peace and calling peace. And Reverend Bishop Coates was there, and then it was another pastor. I can't think of his name right now, but there's a family member out of Tacoma, and it was a nice event as it can be. There, Mrs. Matthews' son was killed on June 16th, just walking down the streets. He had been released. He was having some mental situations, and a lot of people are having this right now. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. He had been getting some treatment, and it appears that he was just walking down the streets, and he got gunned down. And so no mother ever wants to hear that. No mother wants to ever get a phone call from the medical examiner. Really and truly, no mother want to get that kind of call. It's a trauma that a mother. It takes a lot of time to move past that event. I mean, it really does. And so because she remembers when he was put in her arm as a baby boy, and we've all, some of us had bouncing baby boys. Oh, and there's that mother, it's like, oh my God. So she has had so many ideas, so many thoughts going through her head as a mother. And then her husband was there. So I just wanted to give her a blessing to her. Number one, as a mother, who was the mother of 4 children and my oldest boy. You all know, if you listen to my show now, or if you get it on a podcast later on, that my Hiram passed away in 2005. And sometimes when one passes away, another one comes. And my grandson was born January 1st, 2006. So the year after, almost a year after Hiram passed away. But I am in that club. And I have a lot of affinity for mothers who are grieving because their children was killed. There's a lot of mothers grieving all over the world today because their babies died. So, everyone who went to the hospital with to deliver did not come home with a baby. Some babies are still in the hospital clinging to life, and some babies died. And some people like my stepmother, she passed away in 92, at 92 2 years ago. And she lived to see all of her children, except for one, pass into spirit. And so there's something about the mothers who are experiencing these type of things. I don't understand it. We will never understand how it happens, but we know that we're great lovers of our children. And Miss Mathis is a great lover of her son. His name is Prince Darnell. I want to give a big shout out to Como. They did a good job. I mean, sometimes it's crapshoot. Sometimes you get good presents, sometimes you don't. But it was great yesterday. They did come out, and I got to see that. She sent that out. That she's such a diligent mother. She's just so kind and gracious. And so I just wanted to give a real shout out to her, to let her know that we are with her, Mothers for Police Accountability, and we're also doing the silent war, breaking the silence on how we harm one another, and we're doing great harm. But I wanted to just also remind people that we're also doing great work. We are people who have not had any safety and known any peace in over 400 years. I mean, when you wrap your mind around not knowing any peace, other people come to America for safety and for freedom. And they get a moniker of being safe and being free. I mean, they get a lot of help. I mean, but for us, the Catholic Church said we would be in perpetual servitude. That means perpetual service. Suffering is what it means. Perpetual servitude is perpetual suffering. That's what the church said in 1452, and I don't give them a pass on that at all. But I just wanted to give Mr. and Mrs. Mathis a shout out, just to let them know that we're showering them with love in this time of sorrow. Sorrow comes to all of us. We will not escape sorrow. But there is strength that comes from the unseen forces, the unseen, that which lives within us. It gives us the strength to help us move through the day. And so I'm just sending Mrs. Mathis strength to move through the day, because the service for her son is next week. And so all the people who could gather with her would be wonderful. I did tell her the day that I won't be there, but I will be coming to visit her with my ministry of presence. My grandmother taught me that. You go sit with people and you just be present with them. Mainly after everybody's gone home and the phone has stopped ringing and the food has stopped coming, then are you alone, or are you with your family? And all the other people have gone back to their own communities, or they got on those airplanes and went back home. And that's when you need some more comfort. And that's the spiritual work I do. I am a minister. I am ordained, and I have a social justice ministry. But part of my social justice ministry is a ministry of presence. I will come and sit with you. I will. And that's that. COVID put a stop to that for a way, but I did call people and was present to them on the phone as much as I can be. But it is part of my spiritual responsibility to be with you, and to be with you in your time of trouble, because we know that trouble don't last always. And we also know that joy is always returning to us, and we have to be open for the new joy that's always coming. So I just want to give that out to the Mathis family, and to everyone who came out yesterday. And it was a nice crowd. I mean, Bill was there, and the community passageways was there. They were there, and also mothers have a survey on their attitude about violence, and this is mainly for African American people. And we've been doing a survey for a few years, actually for a long time, and it surveys people's ideas about violence. And one of the questions on there: do you think we can ever stop the violence? And most people said no, because I think we've internalized it to be a natural. A reality, but it's not natural. It's not. And also, most everyone says that they know someone who's been assaulted, and they know somebody who carries a gun. And so, we will be compiling those soon. We probably should have enough to be able to get some kind of a report on it. Also, we have our prayer commitment sheets, and we passed those out yesterday also. We're asking people to make a prayer commitment to children, to pray every day for the children in Seattle, in our community, first, in your own family, your grandchildren, your generations of children not born, and also pray for everyone, all the children in your community, and the children in the state, and then in the country, and pray for the children of the world. Because a lot of times when people are trying to escape war, or trying to escape poverty, all those other places where they're moving around, and they're trying to. And a lot of times when those boats capsize out in the Mediterranean, they're trying to get to Europe. A lot of times there's children on there that also lost their life. And then I had a call the other day from someone that was actually talking about children being trafficked. And then there was a container with children on it. So and so we need to pray for children. Really and truly. So anyway, again, I just love, how people come into your life and you haven't met them before, but there's an instant love for her. And I just love Zelena. She's just so kind, kindness is my religion, to me, that's a mark of how much you love the Creator, but how kind you are. I don't care what scripture you quote. I don't care what your text is, but if you're not kind, then to me, it's like it's just not true. Kindness, generosity, always has to be part of the thing. And so for me, kindness is my religion. So I'm going to take a break right now. We'll come back and you'll listen to Harriet Walden again. This is the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host and I love being on there. Thank you so much.
Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
Hi, this is Dr. K. Mahina Intron, inviting you to tune in on Mondays on 1150 KKNW at 5 p.m. to Dr. K's Attuning to Your Abundance, where we honor everyday abundance through positive messages, poetry, music, affirmations, and writing exercises. For more information, contact Dr. K Workshops at gmail.com or Facebook, Dr. K's Abundance.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Bringing good vibes to the Puget Sound and the world. Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. I was just thanking Eric for that song with Ruthie Foster. I discovered her late in life. I love it when I discover people late in life. She's fabulous, really and truly. I just really, 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 really like her. So actually, I can love her. So I can say I love her. I think her music is cool. So we want to be ready. We want to be ready when joy comes back. And if we live long enough, joy does come back. It really does. We'll have happy days again. And this is still for Mrs. Mathis. She'll have happy days again because love is forever. That's the only thing that lasts. Isn't that fabulous? It's fabulous that the only thing that lasts is love. And she'll have loving stories to always, as soon as she was on last Monday, I asked her about some loving stories. Mothers always remember loving stories because that's the way we are. I have something on my counter that one of my sons made when he was like 6 or 7 years old. Yeah, I still got it. People say you ought to throw it away, but I did not. So, you keep some of that little art that they bring home, you put on the refrigerator. They didn't have that when I was growing up because we had an ice box. Ice box for a while. and a wood stove. That's why I say I camp at the Marriott. Already done that. Yeah, I've already camped. Ain't no camping here. I might go to look at the mountain. I might go to the edge of the forest. I might just go that far. But no way. I've cooked on that wood stove and I've had all of that. So anyway, so I'm glad for joy for a new day. I'm glad for joy that we're not all cooking on a wood stove anymore. I think people would just be tired. But somebody has to cut the wood, right? Cut wood, chop wood. I was the person who chopped the wood, okay? So don't get it twisted. My grandmother did not chop wood. She didn't carry wood. Granddaughter did. That's why I camp at the Marriott. So anyway, so yes, it's me today. A lot of stuff was going on last week, and so I got the show together with me. And how is that? This is the Mother's Justice Show, and I get to talk a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm a qualified talker. I think I can. I want to talk a little bit about mothers and what it means to me and to other people. God, this 33 years this year. Who would have believed I would have grown up so doing Mothers for Police Accountability. Started out at Mothers Against Police Harassment. Oh man, is Seattle better today in a lot of ways? Yes, it is. They were putting guns to young people here in 1990. They were making them get out the car, take the position, and they put guns at people's children's head in those days. They were absolutely giving them. I always stopping them crossing the street. I mean, other people cross the street, jaywalking, all that stuff. But black kids, they were also doing. It was a lot of stuff that was going on in Seattle in 1990. A lot of stuff. Also, what they were doing is that they were taking kids' pictures. If they had on a Raiders hat, they would ask them to put the hat on backwards. They would take the pictures, put them in the car, police cars, and they would say they were gang members. All our kids was not gang members, okay? But that's what it was called, the Fur Report. Somebody tipped us on that. I mean, we've been blessed during the time, because we keep privileged information. People know that we're trustworthy. That's what they can say about mothers. Mothers Police Accountability is trustworthy, okay? And we've proven our trust on 33 years, and September is our birthday. It's our birthday month, and so since we're trustworthy, I want to invite people to come to the City Council meeting tomorrow at 2:00. They're going to vote on the ordinance. They're going to vote on this ordinance to change. What's on the agenda is voting to change the ordinance. Making changes for the CPC, and one of them is for the deputy. I mean, that's to give parity to the Community Police Commission. I'm on that commission. I spent some wondering why I'm still there, because I serve at the pleasure of the mayor. And you've had 4 mayors. You've had McGinn, you've had Murray, you've had Durkin, and you've had Bruce Harrell, and they're still there. And I've served the pleasure of those mayors who actually have kept me in that seat. So I think if people are real upset about me still being on that commission all of these years, they should take that up with the mayor's office. They don't have to tweet that out. They just go ask the mayor. Mayor Bruce Harrell. Why is Harriet Walden still there? Because number one, she's kind, she's generous, she's effective, she's truth-telling, she's a collaborator. Collaborators, we work to bring harmony. We're not calling people's names. We're not call people outside and talk about them on all of these networks, all these platforms, as if it's going to make a difference. Because we stand on the body of work of 33 years. We've been to court with people. We've been the people who called and made sure they had the inquest when they wasn't giving everything inquests in all of those years. Sometimes although they were supposed to, a lot of times the county exec has to call for the inquest. We taught people about the inquest process. We did that. We stopped them for taking the pictures of kids in the Raiders jackets and calling them gang members. What we did, we educated the people about traffic stops, how many minutes it takes for them to use that computer, because we were having meetings monthly up at Seattle Central every month then, and we were educating people. We were on the streets watching people, watching the police when they stopped someone. We gave them our card, and if they wasn't arrested, or either we were there if they make sure it was a legitimate arrest, that the person was not getting beat up. We've done that, and also the crisis intervention, the CIT. Mothers is responsible for that. The DOJ did not bring crisis intervention to Seattle and say the Seattle Police Department had to set that up. We fought for that. We did that as a result of the killing of Bordazard Mitchell back in 1986. I think 86 or 87. He was in his 80s, an elderly Black man. And prior to that, a man had been killed, an elderly man out in the U District, out near the U District. And we said, my goodness, we have to do something. A lot of times I've grown elderly now, I wasn't elderly then, but now I am part of that other group of people. But in those days, we said, hey, sometimes people take too much medicine or not enough medicine. And so they're not compliant. A lot of times, as my kids say, yeah, she's not compliant. So we understand about people when they get to be a certain place in life. And so we fought for that. Bordazard Mitchell, he got shot. They said he was acting erratic. And that's also the man that they stole $10,000 from or more. They put $10,000 back. We advocated for that. It's like, okay, this is wrong. And so it took the man holding up Seattle with the sword for the police department to say, okay, yes, we wanted something done. And so we went to Portland. I rode to Portland. I went to Portland and looked at the model down there. We brought that model back to Seattle. That was under Paul Shell. So I've been doing this work for a long time, ever since Norm Rice. Ever since Norm Rice. I've been through many mayors and many police chiefs, okay? We're still collaborators, okay? It's the art of collaboration, consideration, and listening. When you're a great collaborator, you're gonna always have, you're gonna be confident. You're going to have consideration, and you're going to absolutely have cooperation and collaboration. But you must have collaboration and cooperation in order to get things done. What you see in America right now is just a stalemate. It's like, wow, people don't want to get things done, but we do. So we stayed at the table. And so tomorrow at 2:00, you need to get there early, before 2:00, to sign up to speak in support of the ordinance changes for the CPC. There's other people out organizing, and it's being led by a white guy who believes that he exudes his privilege to actually, he wants to bring down the police accountability system. And so if you're listening, one of the things I say, Judge Robot says that the CPC was doing a good job. Mothers is part of that. We worked, I have the letter right here that we sent out to the DOJ of all the people, all the signatures on it. Mothers was one of those groups after the untimely death of John T. Williams, the wood carver, who got killed within 4 seconds of a command. Now, how could I ever answer a command in 4 seconds? I might even not heard it. And it came out to understand after the inquest, because in those days they didn't ask any real questions. Was the police afraid and all of those things? But he was hard of hearing in one ear. And so he was engrossed in his carving. And so we worked on that. And a lot of people who are organizing now to bring down the community police, to bring down the whole police accountability system, have not shown up to anything in the Black community. Isn't that ironic that people who want to do something have never, ever showed up to anything in the Black community? Was not there when John T. Williams got murdered. Was not there for any organizing around that event. Was not there for Charlene Allows. Was not there for any other shootings that has happened in Seattle. Mothers has been there for most of them. Now, in 2004, we was not. The NAACP took lead in those years. But from Antonia Jackson all the way back to the early 90s to recently, got a call the other day from my mother whose son got shot by the Burien Police Department. They have a fine attorney firm on that case who's working on that case, but it happened last year. So we've been there. I was all the way down to to Vancouver Beach, Vancouver, Washington. We have been there. We talked to people over in the Tri-Cities. We've been with people in many, many ways. We've been with many, many people over the 33 years coming in September. So you know how much 30 years is a generation. You know that's a a lot of people say, oh, they've been doing things for generations, but it's 30 years is a real generation. It's 3 decades equals 30. And that is really, that's a generation. And who would have thought that we've still been doing this? Because like Mr. Rice said earlier, we thought some things was going to be handled. But now we know that it's a constant organizing. You're always organizing for your own self-protection. And that's what Marcus Garvey said. Marcus Garvey said you have to organize for your own self-protection. And now we know that. We understand what Mr. Garvey said many, many years ago, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who told us that. He told us that we have to hit propaganda back with propaganda, because propaganda, absolutely, if you don't change and tell the truth, propaganda goes down in history as a lie. And so now a lot of things you see about us is not true, because we didn't hit propaganda back with propaganda. So, you know, our mailing address is P.O. Box 22, 886 in Seattle, 98122. That's Mother's mailing address. And it's P.O. Box 22, 886 Seattle, in Seattle, Washington. Zip code is 98122. I appreciate any donations, because that's how we keep going. Because the last 10 years, you know, Mother's been part of me. I mean, I've been downtown. I'm working on Community Police Commission. And so we're building up capacity again. I think the Burien Police Department does not have any policies around body cameras. I don't think they have body cameras. And so that's some work out in Burien that needs to be done. Why don't they have body cameras? How do they write up a police report? How do they verify the police report? Who's actually investigating a police report? And those kinds of things. But because of I-940, the person who got shot by the Burien Police Department will not be investigating that case because of I-940. And that came about because of Shea Taylor, Andrew Taylor, that was his brother. And so they did get an initiative on the ballot. They did win at the ballot the second time around, I think it was, that the police department, where the incident was coming out of, they cannot investigate themselves anymore. And I think once they get the Office of Prosecution open in the state level, then none of these cases. I think the Attorney General is supposed to be trying that case in Tacoma, the James Bible case, the Manny Ellis case, and I know that the Nelson case down there in Auburn keeps getting a postponement. I don't know why. That's Jesse's case. His foster mom has been on the show, Elaine Simmons. She just got back from meeting with parents in Minneapolis. They gathered there. All the parents, families of affected by police violence, it's gathering there. And also, they're supporting this Washington State for families who've been affected by police violence. It's called the Washington Coalition for Police Accountability. In fact, Mothers is a member there. They do absolutely good work. Let's take a break and come back and continue to have a conversation about Mothers for Police Accountability and all the good work we've done in 33 years. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. We'll be right back.
The Mother's Justice Show is brought to you by H.G. Walden and the Virtues Healing Circles. Join us for Wisdom and Wellness with Reverend Walden, a monthly virtual and in-person healing circle that focuses on community healing and growth. Learn more at virtueshealing.com. That's virtueshealing.com. Also, be sure to join our healing group on Facebook. Again, visit us at virtueshealing.com today.
Did you know 76% of Americans are concerned they won't have a secure retirement? BeAPlanner.com shows how private real estate partnerships can increase current cash flow and retirement savings. There are 3 options to control your 401 and IRAs, but only one will double your retirement lifestyle. BeAPlanner.com for the Be a Planner Show with CPA Nathan Ross.
Be sure and catch the Be a Planner Show every Tuesday at 5 p.m. right here on KKNW. Market Street Shoes is happy to sponsor the Mother's Justice Show in honor of our mother, Jackie Higgins Rosebrook, who spent her life fighting for social justice, and also in honor of all mothers who fight for social justice. Market Street Shoes, fashionable footwear and apparel for life's everyday adventures, in the heart of Ballard since 2006. Visit marketstreetshoes.com.
You found us. Maybe you've been guided to listen. Alternative Talk 1150.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host, Reverend Walden. It's my joy to be on the air. Thank you so much for all the support that we get out there and all our supporters. I just want to talk a little bit about the meeting tomorrow also. I want to set the record straight that the Community Police Commission has not been constituted as a agency that that's independent for 10 years. We were under consent decree, and that was not true. So a lot of times people are saying things that's not true. But anyway, we've given a lot of support to people, and we've done everything that the ordinance requires for us to do. And the Judge Robot, the judge who's overseeing the consent decree in Seattle at the last status hearing this summer, said that the CPC was doing a good job. So anyway, and that's what we're doing. But it's amazing how people are so easy to be organized, and they do the repetition about somebody that they think is an authority, and they don't absolutely do no research themselves. I mean, really and truly, no research themselves, because the affected person, I mean, the person who they're bringing forward, that event happened before the Community Police Commission was ever set up. And it's no way that we can absolutely do anything about closed cases, a cases that's already been adjudicated. See, it's an adjudicated case, and that we were not involved with that. But if you could show up tomorrow, or you could call the city council. The number is 684-8888. That's the number for the city council, and you can leave a message that says that yes, you would like to support the ordinance for tomorrow that they're going to be voting on for the CPC. So you can actually do that. You could absolutely do that one, and that would be really good. I want to make sure I gave you the right number for the city council. Yes, that's right. I used to call it all the time. It's 684-8888. And you can call and talk to one for your council member, or you can leave a message there for all of the council members. So we're asking you to call and ask them to support the ordinance that would change and give the CPC a little bit more strength that we didn't get in 2017. And the other partners have a deputy. The deputy would give us a little bit more security that we need and that type of thing. So when the ED is out, you have somebody else who absolutely can take charge and run the office. But anyway, I just want to acknowledge the community for courage, for standing up, for showing up. I mean, and also for coming as collaborators, because the collaboration is the one that's going to win eventually. I mean, sometimes they listen to the loudest voices because I think they're fearful. I think it takes courage for city council people to do. I mean, for to do what's right. You got the far left and you got the far right, but you also have people in the middle. And, I choose to be with the people in the middle because sometimes they have a voice. Sometimes they don't speak English. Or sometimes they're handicapped. Sometimes they're just not out there. But mothers have been representing those type of people for 33 years. I mean, we have represented a Native man who was losing his eyesight, who had got beat up by the police. His name is late Alex Jackson. He was also a carver from Alaska. We represented him, and it took 2 years to get his tools back and to get his the charges dropped. But we volunteered, but we did that work, and so we have a history of credibility. We have a history of telling the truth, and we have a history of standing with families. We've done that for 33 years. We've gone to court with people. We've shown up in the courtroom. We've made sure that people got attorneys because we don't have attorneys. But once they got attorneys, we made sure that we could be involved with their cases. And we've advocated for people to get investigated. Because all the cases that we advocated for people to get an investigator, those people was found, the charges was dropped. We also used to tell people not to always plea bargain, because that means the prosecutor don't have to prove the case. The prosecutor don't have to do nothing if you take a plea. And then if you get in trouble again, you already have a plea. You already have a prior. So we always ask, do you have a prior? You know, what's going on? Because sometimes the prosecutor case is weak, but once you take a plea, it's off the table, bro. You'll never know how much the police lied because you took a plea bargain. So yeah, so we still advise people, don't take a plea, but it comes back to harm you. You're listening here to the Mother's Justice Show, and I've had a good time on the show today. I thank you for listening. Next week, my show is going to be about the power of now with the Reverend Eric Bodell. So you have a great week. Stay in the sun or stay out of the sun, whichever one you choose. I enjoy being on there. Thank you so much for my supporters. Have a good week. You're listening to Harriet Reverend Walden on the Mother's Justice Show on 1150 a.m. KKNW. I'm your host. My joy to be on there. Thank you so much.